It's about that time.
Stoned on Sports.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Week 11. You are watching Stoned on Sports Fantasy Football, and it is Tinker time. We are in the stretch run to the fantasy playoffs, where not only is every decision you make important, every decision you make is also magnified. And with the number of teams we have coming up on bye over the next few weeks, I'm sure a few of you out there are going to be screwed on week 14. And what does that mean? You got to bank wins between now and then. Kyle, you over there giggling like a schoolgirl. Are you somebody who's kind of fretting week 14?
Yeah, week 14 is gonna be rough for me. I got some Texans in a league, and so I was taking a gamble this year, and it's gonna hurt. So that's all right. I'll go 2-0 in that league today, or just go undefeated till week 14. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. We got Dubo in the chat, Captain Spock in the chat. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you stopping in here again, taking any of your start-sit questions, last-minute questions before lineups lock this beautiful Sunday, because it's about that time for some football, and I can't wait. Some big games today. I'm excited about my Lions squad, of course. Should totally thrash Jacksonville, but we got that awesome Kansas City Buffalo matchup that we see these every year essentially, and they're always a good show.
Yes, they are. And our first question of the day comes to us from Dubo in a half PPR. He's looking for flex help. He wants to know if he should start Rico Dowdle, Brian Thomas Jr., or Josh Downs.
I like BTJ today. I think they'll have to throw a bunch. Lions secondary, it's a lot better than last year, of course, but they are beatable. I just don't like anything about the run game there for Dallas, or anything about Dallas for that matter. And AR's back, and I just don't love Downs.
Yeah, those are three not amazing options. Obviously, I'd understand if you went with Dowdle, looking at it strictly from a volume perspective, going up against the Houston residents of Texas on Monday night. BTJ, you're right. That Lions secondary is improved from last year. It's not a top 10 unit, but they probably got the best pair of safeties in the NFL covering the back end of that defense. The corners, especially on the outside, you look at Terry and Arnold, and yeah, he'll stick pretty damn close, but he'll also draw a lot of flags.
Sure.
And that could be a concern, especially when using somebody like Brian Thomas, chucks it down the field, dude's open. He just, Arnold says, screw it. I'm just going to interfere with him because it's better than giving up the touchdown. Josh Downs, I don't know that I want to count on him getting lucky with a deep shot from Anthony Richardson, because that's about all he can do. Otherwise, he's going to throw it about 90 miles an hour at your feet, 5 yards away. Damn. I'm going to go with Dowdle just from a volume perspective.
Well, sorry, not unanimous there for you, Dubo. I guess you still have things to think about there. I just really expect the Lions to be up a decent amount, and the quarterback situation, of course, isn't great with Mac Jones, but they're going to have to do something. And I think BTJ would be the biggest or the luckiest of those three, I should say.
I guess we'll see. And also just given some injury news, we'll touch on inactives real quick. Sam the Door, which apparently I found out Laporta is Italian for the door. He is going to be out today. Tank Bigsby is out. Trevor Lawrence is out. Amari Cooper is likely to play, but apparently he's going to be playing with a cast on his hand. And George Kittle, tight end from the 49ers, is unlikely to play in that big matchup against Seattle this afternoon. I do want to say, I need to revise my sit pick from Thursday. I had no way of knowing that George Kittle was going to be out.
Set in stone.
However, no. See, my worldview updates as I get new information, and now I think Debo is a solid start.
Yeah, so is Juwan Jennings, for that matter.
Oh, absolutely. Are you concerned at all about some light rain out there?
No. Nope. not at all. It doesn't sound like it's going to be windy, so it's fine. I think it'll be fine. And both teams have amazing running backs.
Yes, they do.
Both catch passes. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the same game parlay for that game. So you talked about the Lions earlier and just how both of us are really expecting them to win that game going away, but 14 is a big nut to cover.
It is.
Do you think they're going to cover that today?
The offense there in the last 3 weeks hasn't looked like the high-powered offense that Lions can be. And I think this is a get right game for them. You're right, 2 touchdowns. It is a damn big number, but I think they can do it. And I think the defense gets an upgrade today with Za'Darius Smith starting in his first game for the Lions. Sounds like he's going to get a full complement. Sounds like he's going to get a full complement of snaps as well.
Good. Hopefully he gets a full complement of sacks to go with it.
Timothy says revised Debo ? Yeah, during our start shit show. You might as well call it that. On Thursday evening, Matt chose Debo as a player to, sit or temper your expectations on this week. And I disagreed with him. And now since the news that Kittle's unlikely to play with that hamstring injury, Matt's trying to revise his pick.
Of course.
Must be nice.
The situation has changed since Thursday. And it's
Sure.
important we give our listeners the best, most up-to-date information and analysis and opinion we can.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's more about you choosing him as somebody that you should sit when I totally didn't agree with that days ago before Kittle was announced to be out or unlikely to play. So
if Kittle was still out, I would stand by that pick.
Okay.
And he'd end up with, 4 for 50.
I hope it changes. He's going to play. Timothy says Saquon and Hurts are my saviors. Buying a lot of jerseys if I win the league. Heck yeah! I just bought an Aiden Hutchinson jersey yesterday for $175. But I haven't had one, and I really wanted one. I was looking for a Sewell one or a Branch even, but Aiden's the man. I really love him.
Yes, he is. It's a nice jersey.
Debo, full PPR, Downs or Jameson? I like Jameson.
That is Dubo and not Debo.
Yep. My bad. I think I was on the Debo same. My bad, dude. I'm horrible at this. Sorry, brother.
I'm also going to go with JMO. I think chances are they'll probably have a similar number of receptions on JMO's side, just because.
And Laporta's out.
Yeah, Laporta is out. Detroit probably isn't going to have to throw a whole hell of a lot today to get the win. Josh Downs likely is going to end up with more targets, but the quality of those targets is going to be subpar. Give me JMO. I mean, dude can have a fantastic day off 2 or 3 grabs.
Yeah, agreed. It will be from DH Gate, not paying $100+ for jerseys that aren't my team. Sure, I understand that.
Bring it in from China.
Yeah.
Just be mindful of the vendor you use.
Right.
Some are better than others.
Or maybe buy it in the next couple months instead of after January 20th, where there might be more expensive.
They're only like $20.
Oh, $25. Okay. So they're selling. Wait a minute. So you're telling me I bought an actual game jersey for $175 and they have the same ones for $25? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're from China.
Oh. They must not be. They must not be the same. No way.
I mean, it's not authentic NFL gear, but it's a damn good facsimile.
Look at this beautiful body. Only authentic gear touches.
That's true. So we got the Bills and the Chefs going this afternoon. And we've got the Chiefs getting 2.5 points today in what is, in my opinion, the marquee matchup of the day. It's in Buffalo. The Bills need to win this one if they have any hope of still contending for that number 1 seed there in the AFC. If the Bills lose this, they're going to be, 3 games back to an undefeated Chiefs team with the game in hand. How do you see this game going?
If it was at Arrowhead, I would think differently. I'm leaning towards the Bills in this game. I think it's time that the Chiefs lose one. They should have lost last week. Got lucky, blocked a field goal. What I'm most interested to see is how it works out with D-Hop and Juju Smith-Schuster. That's what I'm most interested to see, where they line up, what their snap count is, stuff like that. That way we can kind of figure out where they might go in the future. I think I was talking to you yesterday about them taking a playbook from the NBA and just do positionless and line them 2 up wherever, anywhere, all the time, different, just confusing the hell out of the Buffalo defense.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Fortunately or unfortunately, I roster both of them in a league, and I'm going to be watching this with a lot of interest, because my idea of a smart team setup is not carrying 2 Chiefs receivers, especially when they're old head DeAndre Hopkins and seemingly perpetually hurt Juju Smith-Schuster. At the same time, we know just how much Patrick Mahomes can elevate those around him. We've seen him do it for years.
Yeah.
Betting with my heart, I want the Bills to win. Betting with my head, if you're going to give me Patrick Mahomes and points, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. This is definitely Josh Allen needs to take over this game and win this game and not make any mistakes doing it, i.e. turning the ball over.
And he's been a lot better with that this year.
He has. We got Hummer Dragon in from Twitch. Got a question there. Bo Nix or Russell Wilson? I kind of like both of these a lot, but I got to lean towards Russell Wilson. I think with the Baltimore secondary, they're just bleeding points to quarterbacks and receivers for that matter. I like Russ, but you could talk me into the Knicks against Atlanta. You certainly could.
Well, why don't you let me try?
Nice.
Look, when it comes to the passing game, obviously Russ is likely a Hall of Famer, right? Borderline. If you want to call him borderline, sure, whatever. It is what it is. I think for me, the big difference really is Bo Nix's ability to gain yards on the ground. And he kind of reminds me of a younger Russell Wilson and just the frequency and success he has running the ball. I think there's a halfway decent chance that Russ is going to throw for more yardage today, but I think Bo Nix's ability on the ground is going to make up for that. And I'll call it a halfway decent, which, is definitely not a number, but I'll say there's a halfway decent chance that Bo Nix could run one in today.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
Falcons team has struggled against quarterbacks as well. So it's wheels up. I mean, they're allowing what is that, 7th, 8th most points to QBs.
Yeah, both matchups are great. Himothy, Adams expected to play today, but did not practice all week. Sit or start? There's something to say about the outside corners there for Indianapolis. They suck. Kenny Moore's their inside guy. He's a hell of a lot better defender. I still like to start Adams. It's hard to sit Adams, even with him not practicing, even with the Jets kind of in, this fucking disarray. I'm still starting him in the 2 leagues I roster him because he's Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and since coming over to the Jets, he's not had fewer than 6 targets in any one game. He had 6 targets against New England back on the 27th. Otherwise, it's been 9, 11, and 13. And it's really difficult for me to put that kind of target volume on the bench. I understand the Jets are kind of a team in almost disarray. Right. That's a team that's headed nowhere fast. Aaron Rodgers ain't the Aaron Rodgers of old. The coaching staff, that team is toast. But at the same time, with target volume like that, you just can't unless you've got, if you're thinking like either him or Nico Collins or something like that, it would have to be a very, very high end receiver for me to consider benching Devontae Adams.
100% agree. 100%. I know you're kind of like this Browns Saints game today, a little revenge game there for Jameis Winston against his old team, the Saints. How do you see this game going? It's very close. Browns are -1 on the road there in New Orleans, total of 44. Think that could go over the total?
I think so. And this is one of those games where it can be difficult to read, right? Because it's certainly within the realm of possibility. If you've watched either of these teams play at all this year, well, aside from the Saints' first 2 games, I don't think anyone is out there who would be shocked at like a 17-14 result, right? But at the same time, Cleveland's offense has found a bit of a groove with Jameis Winston at the helm. There's the revenge narrative, which I buy into wholeheartedly. It makes it just a little bit more fun. I don't have any, real thorough analysis to back up my position, but I don't need it. It's my show. We've seen the emergence of Cedric Tillman. We're seeing Elijah Moore get peppered with targets. Nick Chubb is back, which, congratulations for getting back on the field. He's been ineffective.
Yeah.
He's a volume-based play only, but don't expect any efficiency out of him. I think he's averaging like 2.9 yards a carry this year. Something just not great. On the Saints side, they've still got Kamara. They brought in MVS, who we saw go off last week. They got Taysom Hill, which is, nothing to really write home about. But at the same time, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen him put up some points. They put up a good fight against the Falcons team just a week ago. I don't really consider the Falcons head and shoulders above this current iteration of the Browns. I think it's going to go over, honestly. It not by a lot. I think it's played closer to maybe 48, 49, something like that. But yeah, I think 44 might be a touch low today.
Rams Patriots. I like the Rams in this game, but there's a part of me that thinks the Patriots can pull up an upset today.
I would agree with that. They're at home. The Pats are, I don't know, bottom third against running backs. I think Kyron Williams can have himself a halfway decent day, but I think the same can be said for Ramondre Stevenson. The big thing that we're seeing out of Drake May is not necessarily so much his ability to throw the ball, but his athleticism on the field and him running the ball, which was really an under-discussed aspect of what he brings to the table, right? Personally, I remember saying this, before the draft, and I'll continue to say it. I think when all is said and done, I think Drake May is going to end up being the best quarterback of this class.
It could be the damage that he does on the ground with his legs is no doubt. If y'all remember, I think it was Tuesday about his prowess in the rushing game and the fantasy points he has scored per quarter using his legs in fantasy is just amazing. I mean, he's averaging more points than Lamar Jackson. He's in the top 5, and I love that. And I did not expect to see that from him this good so soon on the ground.
Sure.
Now that I can talk properly.
Well, a little bit. No, I think New England got that pick right. And he fell to him, right? Caleb Williams went first, and then you had Jaden Daniels going second. And then, hey, look, here's Drake May. Yes, please. So all things being equal, right? We're just choosing these two quarterbacks. So assume, health and an equal type schedule, et cetera, et cetera. Who would you rather have going forward, Drake May or Bo Nix?
I still lead towards Bo. If you're saying everything's the same, I'll take Bo with Sean Payton than Drake May with whoever the fuck it is there. Can't remember.
Mayo.
Yeah. Who's not a offensive guy.
No, he's not. I'm going to go Drake May. I think at this point, he's a little bit better of a passer than Bo Nix is. It's pretty close. I think Bo Nix is a little bit better on the ground, not a whole hell of a lot, but I think Drake May's betterness, whatever you want to say, throwing the ball makes up for any deficit running the ball. I like May just a little bit better.
Yeah, and I can see the point in there. May seems a little more reserved, I guess, in the passing game, and I see Bo Nix as more of that gunslinger Matthew Stafford type.
Sure. Yeah, they're two different archetypes.
Yeah.
Dubo has a question, not Debo. Miami defense or the Bills? I think Miami is the call at home against the Raiders. They've got the weather-based home field advantage. That Kansas City offense, I get it. They've struggled. That Bills defense, though, is okay. And Miami is okay, but just the level of opponent they're facing this week is night and day.
Agreed. Little shit talking going on. Get your popcorn ready. Enjoy the show. Dubo says, Green Giant stomping all over the league. You need a loss, bro. You've won like 9 or 10 in a row now. It is time for somebody to take you down. Loud Boy, good luck. And Loud Boy goes, ho, ho, ho. Anytime I think of that, ho, 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 I think of Die Hard and, oh God, what's the bad guy's character name in Die Hard? Why can't I think of his name? It drives me nuts. Dubo might remember.
Victor Maitland.
No,
that's from Beverly Hills Cop.
There you go. God,
the original.
That's going to drive me nuts now. Oh, well. Hans something.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Hans Gruber.
It's not Christmas till I see Hans Gruber fall off the Nakatomi building.
Nakatomi Tower.
Christmas movie. Die Hard. All the way. Poll question. What's your favorite Christmas movie in the chat?
Let's worry about Christmas after we have Thanksgiving.
All right. Favorite Thanksgiving movie. There's some good ones as well. Planes,
Trains, and Automobiles.
Number
and that's
one.
The only one I know
of. Dutch with Ed O'Neill. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
He has to go pick up his girlfriend's kid across country. He's in like a boarding school, and they have a road trip going back to home, and it's kind of funny. All right, Jack's House back into the chat here. Ramondre or a Lad?
That's a good one. Those are actually a couple halfway decent options to choose from. Stevenson really is so touchdown dependent for a decent day. Going up against a Rams defense, they're bottom third against running backs, so it's a pretty good matchup. He is at home, and then you've got McConkey going up against the not Broncos, the Bengals, who nobody's really afraid of that defense. My concern, though, with the Chargers is that everyone was talking about Justin Herbert and how he was turning corner and passing more, and his pass attempts have decreased every single week over the past month since he had like 39 4 weeks ago. He had just 18 last week. The team hasn't needed to pass the ball. That said, the Bengals, they're going to get T. Higgins back. They're going to have a full complement of weapons. We've seen the emergence of Chase Brown there in the backfield as well. I'm going to go Ladd over Stevenson in a game that I think is going to score more points, and I think Ladd will be a big reason they do that.
Yeah, I think they will have to keep up with the Bengals there as well and pass to score for sure. Totals at 48.5 on DraftKings. Lines close as Chargers -1, so I like that call as well.
Yeah,
Supersonic.
I would take Ramondre over Ladd in a standard league, though.
That's a good call out. Excellent call out. Well, speaking of that Bengals Chargers game, then Sunday night tonight, just mentioned the totals 48.5. You said T. Higgins is back. If you're somebody that still is rostering Mike Gesicki, probably you should jettison him. He's probably not going to be as good as he's been the last few weeks. I certainly wouldn't start him.
Oh, absolutely not. No, he's not startable unless T. Higgins or Chase is out. On the Chargers side, you got Gus Edwards back, and he's going to help shoulder some of the load there in the backfield. We know Dobbins has quite the injury history, and we saw that shake out last week. On the Cincinnati side, we just mentioned Chase Brown has really emerged. The team brought in Khalil Herbert, and I know they had Leonard Fournette in for a workout earlier this week. I don't remember what happened there. I don't really think it matters, though, unless they're looking for playoff Lenny. I think the Bengals, they are a better team than their record indicates. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Joe Burrow's got like 24 touchdowns and only 4 picks on the season. He's been playing some damn good football, as have the Chargers. I think the Chargers defense is better than what Cincinnati is putting out there on the field, and there's a good chance that ends up being the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to this game tonight, and I haven't been able to watch a ton of Chargers games either.
So in a game Detroit is expected to win handily, let's say this is for season long or DFS lineup, it doesn't matter. Who are you taking, Monty or Gibbs, and why?
I'm leaning towards Monty in this game. Again, I think it's I've said it before, it's going to be a thorough beating, I think, and they're going to be up, and I'll think they'll ride Monty. I think his prop on DK today or this morning was over 14 and a half rush attempts. I took him over on that. I definitely think Monty. Gibbs is going to get his, but I like Monty.
Think Monty's going to get the volume?
Yep, up the middle. A lot of up the middle.
We got Loud Boy with a question, a defensive question. Houston or Minnesota defense? Houston is going up against the Cowboys. You get Minnesota going up against the Titans in Tennessee. Which way are you leaning there?
The Minnesota defense is kind of taking a step back from the first month of the season. Would you agree?
I would. That's a team that's kind of reeling a little bit. Detroit went ahead and smacked the shit out of them, put them in their place, and now they've lost their entire identity. So
they kind of have. And I can't put it past Brian Flores to right the ship there on the defensive side, but I kind of lean towards Houston.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, that Cowboys offense is just a damn mess. That is for the rest of the season, or at least for the foreseeable future. When it comes to team defense, the Cowboys are a team I am going to target. So nice. Houston is a call for me. And we got Bryce joining us. Fellas, what's going on? Drake London or JSN?
Well, London should see a ton of Patrick Surtain II. He has allowed the fewest targets among all DBs with 100 snaps played, just 21 targets. I don't expect a big game. I could see 2 for 2 for 13 yards for Drake London today.
Yeah, I agree. JSN has really been playing really damn well. Understand that was with DK out of the lineup. He's going to be back this week. But for Seattle to have a chance of winning, they're really going to need JSN to continue that increased production that we've seen over the past couple weeks. It's JSN for me.
Same. Yep. And then the next question I really like.
Why don't we put it on the screen then? DeAndre Hopkins or Cedric Tillman? I'm going with Tillman in this one. Yeah. Look, over his past 3 games across 4 weeks, Cedric Tillman's like the wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3. Like, keep rolling with it. That Saints defense has been struggling. They sent Marshawn Lattimore packing over to Washington. I understand Hopkins looked pretty good his last time out there. He had the couple no, it wasn't last time before. He did okay against Pat Surtain. I think he went like 6 for 50, something like that. But Cedric Tillman has been playing fantastic football. He's getting the target share. He's averaging 11 targets a game. like that's just volume. You can't sit down. I understand DeAndre Hopkins has played pretty well since going to Kansas City, but he's still a dude who really has he's no threat after the catch. He's old. He's got, a torn ligament in his knee. I think it was his MCL. Like that shit don't heal while you play. I'm going to go with Tillman there.
I think he'll see the most volume. I guess if maybe Juju was still out, you could really talk me into D-Hop, but
sure.
I think D-Hop could see, 7-8 targets, where I think Tillman could see 10 or 11 today.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly possible. I roster both of them in a league and Tillman in another league. Yeah, I'm starting him with confidence. Yeah, I think he's going to continue to shine.
All right, we got PJ Ickel. We'll just go with PJ on our Twitch. Bench 1, Hopkins, Dobbins, Higgins, or Tillman in a full PPR.
Damn. I'm going to bench Hopkins.
Okay.
I think T. Higgins is rip-raring and ready to go. I think Dobbins has a damn good chance to find the end zone tonight. Cedric Tillman, we just talked about. Really, the decision came down to Higgins or Hopkins for me, and just the uncertainty on the Kansas City side as far as how's that ball going to be distributed. At least with Higgins, in theory, we have a good idea of what his baseline is going to be, and I'll take that over Hopkins and the uncertainty.
I can dig it. Good luck, PJ. Appreciate you stopping in today on Sunday to hang with us here. Our last, where we take your last minute questions there before lineups lock every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern. What else game we got? Do you want to talk about Supersonic? Still throwing that trash talk out there to Dubo in our podcast league. Defeat is inevitable. Love it.
So the Ravens and the Steelers are squaring off today. And the Steelers, look, coming in with 2 losses at this point in the season. I don't think anybody expected that. The Ravens.
Well, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season.
Oh, God.
Tired of hearing that. But yeah, go ahead.
Sure. And kudos to him. The Ravens, I don't think they're as bad as their record indicates they are, but that pass defense is absolutely horrible. I think most people out there agree George Pickens is probably a wide receiver 1 this week. But how are you feeling about that Steelers running game?
That's not going to go well. Baltimore's top 3, I think, if not first. I can't remember in points allowed to running backs in standard or PPR, I believe. I don't love that. I have Najee, been starting him full go the last month. This week, I am benching him.
Nice.
No go. I don't see it. See, we got Smitty in the chat. He's 4-6, and he needs to win out for the playoffs. Not a great situation to be in, but yeah, we're going to help you. He's got a 2 QB super flex league. May or Stafford, quarterbacks in the same game. You just talked up Drake May a moment ago.
Yep.
But that was just on his own.
It was. And now you've got Stafford, who you get him on the road. New England's defense is okay, right? They're not great. Christian Gonzalez has played pretty damn well, and he could give Puka some fits, but they still have Kyron Williams out there who can do some things. They've still got Cooper Kupp. It seems like Demarcus Robinson, all he does is catch touchdowns. So there's definitely some weapons there. I think even though New England has jack squat at wide receiver, I think Hunter Henry can do a little bit of damage today. I think Ramondre can have a halfway decent day, but he's more the touchdown dependent. I think Drake May ends up somewhere around 175, 200 yards passing and maybe 40 on the ground, 45 on the ground. Stafford will probably be somewhere around 250. I expect a couple passing touchdowns from him as well. These are honestly, I think, pretty close. I would take May for the upside and Stafford for the floor.
Yep. But if you need to win out for the playoffs, it sounds like you're going with May. Second part of the question is start 2, Ramondre, Chase, Brown, or Monty. Monty's in for me. I think he'll have 18, 19 carries today. I love the volume with him against Jacksonville. And that leaves Chase Brown and Ramondre. I really like Chase.
So do I. I'm going to follow the usage there and go with Chase Brown over Ramondre.
Yep.
Good luck, Smitty.
More crap. Loud boy, you had a chance, but you tinkered your lineup too much, leaving lots of points on the bench. Now I want to take a look at it. Why? We got this next question coming on from Jack House again. Missed on Goddard Thursday. Need a tight end, Ferguson or Kraft? God, it's really hard to trust Jake Ferguson now with Cooper Rush behind the center. Maybe he could be kind of a security blanket for Cooper Rush there with some short passes. So I guess you could expect some volume there in the short pass game. I don't think you'll see a touchdown from him. Kraft's kind of what? He's cooled off a bit. Bears are, kind of tough again in the passing game. God, that's fucking tough.
I'm going with Kraft on this one.
Is Dawson Knox available? I'd rather start him over those two.
Right now, the Texans are the number 1 defense against tight ends. They give up, we'll call it 2 for 27. The Bears 5 for 57. This is a rivalry game. And you don't really hear that a whole lot in the NFL, but this is one of the few true don't care for each other. They played, 200 times FTP games. I'm going Kraft here.
Okay. Love it.
Even though
what the hell are we just talking about? I don't remember.
I don't either.
I was trying to look at Loud Boy's team.
Oh, he's got trash talk in the chat.
Yeah, he got a nice little lead there with Saquon's Thursday night. So,
dude, in one league I'm in, I went against Jamar Chase last week and Saquon this week. Like sometimes you just can't catch a break. I was able to overcome Jamar Chase last week, but this week I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know, Loud Boy. I'm looking at your team. I think it's all right. Maybe I would put in Calvin Ridley, but I really like that matchup versus Minnesota's pass defense. But
yeah, that's how you beat Minnesota is through the air. But also, can you count on Will Levis to be consistent enough to take advantage of that matchup?
Yeah. Who I do really love in this game as a running back, Tajay Spears. I think you could expect a decent fantasy game out of him. You could see him catch a lot more passes out of the backfield. I don't think Tony Pollard is going to have a very good game.
We got Dubo attacking Loud Boy on his process. You started a tight end in your flex on a Thursday, blew up your options.
You did do that. He went with Schultz in the tight end spot and Goddard. Yep. Hey, that happens.
Jax, he got burned by McLaurin. Like, look, that Philly defense is something else. Let's be real here. They're number 1 against the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver positions since week 6, which is just ridiculous. Yeah. It really is. Their cornerbacks are playing really, really well. And let's be real here. Jaden Daniels has struggled the past couple of weeks, but he's gone up against Pittsburgh and Philly, who are the 2 toughest matchups for quarterbacks. It's understandable. And here's the thing with rookies too, like the longer the season goes and the more film we get on these guys, you got to understand that any deficiencies are going to get exposed the more that they play. And Jaden Daniels, for all the good that he's done, he also does struggle in some areas. He'll have problems at times from, staying in the pocket. He'll get a little antsy and he'll go and take off. And while it's great when a quarterback can make off-platform throws, that should not be your default. You shouldn't run yourself into that. And with rookies, you have a tendency to do that. And he's not the only one. If you look at Anthony Richardson, a lot of times he's running and throwing across his body. You're not going to be as accurate. You can't get the zip on the ball when you do that. And, he's somebody who already struggles with his damn accuracy. And now he's just making it worse on himself.
Well, boy says he was trying new strategies to win. Hey, adapt or die.
Hey, look, and that's something we talk about on this show. The best way to make sure you don't win is to do the same thing everybody else does.
Yep. Heck yeah. I love it. We got Abraham Pena. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show, Abraham. Should he start Zay Flowers or Ridley this week?
We were just talking about Calvin Ridley. Zay Flowers, has a reasonably tough matchup this week going against Pittsburgh, and that's a tough matchup for Lamar as well. Still Zay, we didn't think he was going to do shit against Pat Surtain, and look what happened. Zay Flowers has had a nice little run here as of late, but so has Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and Joey Porter's good, but he's no Surtain either. So you go, It's tempting. It is. Is this the week that Deontay sees more targets and takes some away from Flowers? We haven't seen that yet. It's tough. I'm going to trust that Levis gets Ridley the ball and takes advantage of a weak Minnesota pass defense.
Weak Minnesota pass defense, Dubo. Do you hear that? Weak.
I'm
going to agree with you, but I think these two are pretty damn close. I think they're both solid wide receiver 2 options.
Yep. Let's see. What do we got? Jack House going against Chubb and Lamb this week. Any hope of a dud by any of them? Absolutely.
Yes.
I think it's a great chance for both of those guys to not do that. Chubb's seeing some volume, but he hasn't really done dick with it yet so far. And that's probably a lot to do with, a completely reconstructed knee. And CeeDee Lamb with Cooper Rush. Yeah, he should be the main target receiver there, pass catcher there. But what kind of targets are they going to be?
Yeah, Nick Chubb's averaging 2.7 yards an attempt.
That's no good. Yep, I think you got a very good, excellent chance for that. Pray that happens.
But I need Lamb to do a little bit of something today. So if he goes, 6 for 60 and a touch, I think that's fine. That'll get me what I need. And then Chubb can just do, jack shit for Jack's house and he'll get what he needs. And we both win.
Nice. Dubo is calling a Vikings pick 6 today. Who's it going to be, Dubo? Going to be Cam Bynum, going to be Josh Metellus, going to be Harrison Smith. Who's it going to be?
Damn, you're making him call his shot.
Heck yeah.
Being all Pacific and shit.
All Pacific Ocean and shit. I love this group that comes in here all the time, every show. You guys are great. That's why we keep continuing doing this. We just love the community here. What other game haven't we talked about?
So putting Detroit aside, what is your lock of the day?
Ooh, lock of the day. Kind of put me on the spot.
Yes.
Rushing touchdown for Josh Jacobs. Anytime touchdown score for Josh.
No shit.
We know that the Chicago defense, while very good defending the pass, Matt's mentioned them as a kind of a run funnel defense there. I like Jacobs today.
And so just for some folks that may not know what that means, why don't you tell us when we talk about run funnel, pass funnel, what does that mean?
Generally, the defenses that they're facing like that, the defenses they're calling, or even the personnel that they have, really allows itself to attack them in the run game. Make sense?
Sure. Yeah, it does. Or I guess an easier way to explain it would be,
Sure.
you've got your defense, you're good at the pass or you're good at the run, whatever you're bad at kind of funnels that way. So if you're shitty against the run, you're a run funnel defense. If you're bad against the pass, you're a pass funnel defense.
Whoa. Van Ginkel gets his third. I roster him in our IDP league we have, and I love him. Maybe bind him so he can do a dance. Okay. All right. We'll see. They need a pick. When's the last time they got one? It's been a minute.
Sam's been handing them out.
Actually, Bynum, I think, might have got one last week.
Gosh.
Let's see. Talked about that. Raiders, Dolphins. I don't really want. Well, let's go. Is this the week that Tyreek Hill has 120 and a touch?
I hope so.
The week, because the matchup looks damn good for it to happen. And I know any Tyreek Hill owner out there, yourself included, Matt, has been waiting for that type of game.
Oh, absolutely. And this is hopefully a get right game for them. The Raiders do have a new OC in place, but they're kind of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic at this point. And, Antonio Pierce may not be back. This team has looked like ass pretty much all season long. Zamir White has not been the answer at running back. Alexander Madison has been okay. He's a back end RB2 and kind of flex play, just depending. But on the Miami side, it's really been interesting watching. I don't know if this has been a philosophical change or more a product of the environment that they're in, but just the decreased target share for the wide receivers and that going over to Achane and Jonnu Smith, getting those two more involved. Now, obviously with Achane, we know what he can do. Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, he's one of those dynamic players who can take it to the house from anywhere on the field. The same with Tyreek. It just seems like this year they've not been doing as good a job getting Tyreek the ball in a position where he can catch it on the run and continue going. You know, it's frustrating as somebody who rosters Tyreek. I'm just hoping, like you said, that this is a get right, bounce back game for them. The Dolphins are still kind of in it. I mean, they need to keep winning if they want to try and make the playoffs, but I mean, they've got a very winnable matchup. They're an 8-point favorite at home.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give me Tyreek.
Yeah. Is the wrist injury causing him problems? I know he saw a specialist this week, last week, whatever. And there was talk of surgery and he said, hell no. A lot of these receivers in the league dealing with wrist injuries. Amari, Keon Coleman, Tyreek. I think there's another one I can't remember right now, but I wonder if that's causing an issue as well.
I mean, how could it not? Now, sure, they can shoot them up before the game and do something for the pain. I don't know. Just this has been a really strange season. Usually we see the majority of the injuries on the running back side, and we've just not seen that this year. It's been wide receivers, and it's been good ones getting hurt for a long time. I mean, Nico Collins was on IR. You've got Chris Godwin, who looked like the best receiver in football. He's toast. I don't know. It's one of those strange years.
Definitely is.
We got Prime coming to us from Twitch. DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, or Chase Brown at his last flex spot.
It's tough. We need like a 12 target, 7 reception, 130 yards and a touchdown from Tyreek. I really think that could happen today, but it's just with how the season has gone, I just don't know. I'm leaning towards Chase Brown because of the volume.
Yeah, I like Chase Brown here. He is going to get the volume. He does work on the ground and through the air, but you've got to understand, Prime, that any week there is no one with the same upside as Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
In any week, he could pop for, 120 and 2 off of 4 catches.
Yeah,
that's well within the range of outcomes. So
it is. And it's the right matchup for it to happen.
It is. With that in mind, Chase Brown, I think, is going to give you the best chance at a very high floor. And there's touchdown upside there too. DeAndre Hopkins, we don't really know how things are going to shake out there with Kansas City with the return of Juju Smith-Schuster. I have my thoughts. I roster him and Hopkins on a team, and I'm sitting here with bated breath trying to find out what the hell is going to happen. But for this week, squirt gun to my head, Prime, I'm going Chase Brown. But it's one of those things too. It just sucks because in theory, you can't bench Tyreek. You just can't. No. Even when they had, Cunty McShitballs or whoever they had there at quarterback in Miami, I'm still running Tyreek out there every damn week because of what he can do.
Right.
And it's frustrating.
Cunty McShitballs. Devon Achane should have a great game as well. God.
You would think. Yeah. And it's kind of looking too like Jalen Wright has kind of usurped
Mostert.
Who's that other dickhead? Yeah, Mostert for, second in the pecking order for carries. That was something I was kind of hoping happened early in the season. I drafted him in a few spots as just a, last pick kind of guy.
Yeah.
And, now it's coming. He ain't really doing a whole hell of a lot, but, it is what it is.
McShitballs. Yes. Get on your McDonald's app and order you a box of McShitballs. Prime's back. He's got Burrow, Saquon, Achane, Chase Cup, and Kenneth Walker. You think Tyreek might be a start as long as strong boom play. Yeah.
I'm not sitting. Well, so Saquon already played. I'm not sitting Cup for him. I'm not sitting Chase for him. I'm not sitting Achane for him. The only consideration would be K9.
I don't like that.
And I'm not going to do that because of his usage. Yeah, like
they played Seattle earlier this year, San Francisco earlier this year. And while he didn't do on the ground, he had like 8 targets, caught them all for 70, 80 yards, something like that. Walker did. So that's tough. I'm starting. Yeah.
You're going to stick with K9?
I am.
I think so too.
I'm breaking a rule in one of my leagues where I'm starting McCaffrey and K9 in the same league, the same matchup.
Well, that's just you do what you got to do.
You got to do.
You understand that it's not that we think or don't think. Tyreek is a boom play this week or any week. He's one of those dudes with that potential every single week.
So he's got the double flex. Got the double flex.
So it's really between Chase Brown and Tyreek. Looking at the rest of your team, I'm going with Chase Brown.
Okay.
I think that's the, setting your lineup with your head versus your heart kind of thing. Like my heart wants to say Tyreek just because of all the potential for just a massive blow up game. My head says, you know what, take the, guaranteed 12 points from Chase Brown.
Right. Also depends. Are you already down 40 or something this week from Thursday's game? Well, no,
I would hope not. He's got Saquon.
He's up. He's got Saquon, so he's up.
Yeah.
So he's sitting good. So heck yeah.
No, you're sitting pretty, Prime.
Yep. All right. Last time for questions. Throw them in the chat. Forever hold your peace. Shit like that. What's football watching food today while we're waiting for a couple more questions to come in? Matt, what are you doing? Tacos?
I don't know. I know I've got this mood enhancement device here in my hand that I will be using here once we go off the air, and the Lions will be on.
Yeah.
There's no subtlety with you, is there, loud boy?
No. Mood enhancement device.
Yes.
From plants.
It's all natural.
Stuff. It's good stuff. It is. It is. And yeah, why is there the stigma on it? I think there's still a stigma. I just don't get it. Not much of a drinker. People can go out there and get hammered and go drive around, and I would have got persecuted. Well, now my state's recreational, but would have got persecuted if I would have smoked and drove around. It just doesn't feel the same. Or even, applying for a job. Some raging alcoholic can get a job because he passed a background or a drug test, and I could. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Let's see. Last one, my bad. Since I got a decently strong team, who are some strong players with good fantasy playoff schedules?
As far as tight ends go, Will Dissly has a fantastic upcoming schedule. I think he has the easiest schedule over the next 6 weeks or so. Bo Nix has a pretty good schedule coming up at QB, but you've got Joe Burrow, so I'm not messing with that.
No.
That's a good question. Nothing's really jumping out off the top of my head because this is our, unprepared show. But quite frankly, just looking at your team, Prime, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
There ain't no need to get cute when you got talent like that on your team.
Dubo's having Velveeta Rotel dip for the third week. You put a sausage in that or a meat or something. I always did sausage. Made it extra better. We got Yobo from the Twitch there. Zay Flowers or James Cook. James Cook's matchup's absolutely brutal on the ground. I don't love it. I'll take Flowers.
Yeah, I'll go Flowers and PPR. Cooks or James Cook and half or standard. Because I do think he can do a little bit of work coming out of the backfield against KC.
Yeah. And Dubo's got it right. Smoke over booze. Love it.
Bingo.
Love it. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. You guys have a great Sunday. Good luck in all your matchups.
We got one more. Prime's still kicking with us. Got offered Debo. Do you think it's worth trying to trade for his upside? It depends on what you're giving up. He can be so inconsistent, though. That's the frustration with him, just because there's so much on that team.
Yeah.
He's their wide receiver one. I think we can all agree on that, but that doesn't necessarily mean he gets wide receiver one usage.
He don't feel like a wide receiver one. And his ADOT is up this year, 25% over last year. And it's kind of with the ball in the air longer. He has, it's not in his hands as much, and he can't do what Debo does. And man, I'm not as high on Debo this year as I have been in past years. I think we're still trying to comp him to that 21 year.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. People keep expecting that. And you want to look at his snap share. He's only on the field for about 80% of snaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got good upside any given week. It's almost a similar thing to Tyreek, right? Because any given week, Debo can go for 120 and 2 with 40 yards on the ground as well. So I think I'd stand pat. If you do have a concrete offer, let us know. You can hit us up in the comments or on X, either way, and we're happy to talk it through with you.
Heck yeah. Everyone have a good one. We'll be back Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Stay stoned.